Sarah, and today I'm working through the December kit, which is 0401 XOXkit. So the outcomes from this kit are a metallic wreath, which you can see behind me, and some paper stars. So even though it's Christmas, it's not a very Christmassy project, but you can make it Christmassy if you want to. So this is what you'll be receiving in your kit. We've got the template for the stars and the paper for the stars, which we'll do second. And we've got the aluminium to cut out for the wreath, the galvanized wire to shape the wreath, and stencils to work from. You've also got in this kit a glue gun. Please be really careful. It's really hot, and the glue is very hot when it comes out of it, so please work carefully with the glue gun. Same with the aluminium and the wire. They're quite sharp and it's really easy to cut yourself. So if you're feeling a bit nervous, I really suggest you use your tape to tape the edges so that you don't cut yourself. The glue gun has an on-off switch, so if you're not using it, flick it off and the light will turn off. Okay, so let's get started. So the first template I'm going to be doing is the star, but before that we need to use our galvanized wire. So you want to stretch it out as far as you can, and we're going to fold it in half. Stretch it out and then fold it in half. Doesn't have to be exact, because I think it would be impossible to make it exact. Fold it in half. So as per the instructions, if you can get a wooden spoon or a ruler or something to tie it to. So the broken ends you're going to wrap around your wooden spoon or your ruler. Again, please be very careful, like so. There we go. Now this end you're going to attach to a doorknob or the leg of a table or some gym equipment, something that's really sturdy. So you're going to attach that to it, and what you're going to do is you're going to pull on it to straighten it out, and then you're going to twist your ruler around and around and around. So you're going to end up with a quite nicely twisted galvanized piece of wire. This makes it a bit easier to mold, and it also looks better, and it's quite sturdy. I can't do it right now because I don't have anything to attach it to, but just make sure that you leave enough at the loop at the end to get it off your doorknob or get it off whatever you've attached it to. And then finish off twisting it. So once you've twisted your wire, take it off your spoon or your ruler or whatever you've used. Straighten it out and twist off the end if you can by hand. Just be careful. It can untwist very quickly. So just be really careful working with this wire. So once it's all twisted and nice, you want to turn it into a circle. And you're just going to finish off the ends by looping this wire around to finish it. There you go. So there you have a nice, I'm getting attacked by a bee, a nice base for your wreath. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working with. So the template I'm going to use today is probably the easier one and the most Christmassy one. So all you need to do is, I strongly suggest taping your stencil down so that it doesn't move, especially when you've got the stencil rolling up one direction and you've got your aluminium rolling in another direction. Just tape it down so it's a little bit easier for you. Okay, so all you need to do is use your pen and draw this straight onto the aluminium. You don't have to press too hard. So once you've done this, you're going to take this template off and you're going to cut around the outside of the star. If you're doing one of the other animals, such as the giraffe or the deer head, which you can see behind me, it gets a little bit tricky when you're cutting, so please just be really safe not to cut yourself on the aluminium. I really suggest taping up the edges. Also, the inner lines of these shapes, it's up to you whether or not you just want to use your pen and indent the aluminium, or whether you want to use your rotary cutter. And so you can see the indents there, which makes it quite easy to see, and it's going to be quite easy to cut out. I promise you this is the last kit in a while that you will be given scissors. Done. So, you cut along these edges nice and neatly, unlike how I'm doing it. Now it's up to you whether you want to leave the insides of this way, or whether you want to use the rotary cutter. If you are going to use the rotary cutter, I suggest putting down a phone book or some newspaper, or just something underneath, a cutting board if you've got one, just so it's easier to use. If you've got a ruler, it might help to run it along the rule too, but it's not 100% necessary. So this gives it a nice texture. Lovely. I'm not going to cut that out all now because it will take me forever. But here's one that I did earlier of the giraffe. It's a little bit smaller, but you can see that's without the rotary cutter. So the other part to this are the flowers to go on the outside of the wreath. You've got the template, and they've got the flowers that you can cut out. My suggestion is to cut out the flower from the paper first, like this one here, and use that as your template to then trace it on so that you can fit as many as you can onto your leftover aluminium. So you can see here I've traced out a few of them already, so let's cut one of those out. I would suggest that you'll need at least 12 to go on your wreath if you want to make it look full of leaves. The other option is to only do a couple, maybe 2 down the bottom or 2 up the top, and you can fill the rest of your wreath up with the paper stars that we're making in the second project. This is a very time-consuming task. Great to be sitting in front of TV and doing it. Maybe a glass of wine. Okay, again, you can use your cutter. If you have a ruler, go ahead and use that. If you received last month's kit, you will have a miniature ruler such as this one to use. It will just make things a little bit neater. There we go. You can then fold these leaves up a little bit to give them a bit of depth. There we go. So once you've cut out your 12 or more leaves, you'll be able to use your galvanized wire to figure out where they're going to go. My giraffe's a little bit small, this one. Goes there, and then you can work out where you're going to put each of your leaves. to attach them, the best bet is to attach your main image first. So you'll figure out where it goes, lay it down, and my suggestion is to glue onto your figure rather than onto your galvanized wire, and then push the galvanized wire down. Once you've done that, you can then attach the peg to make sure that it holds. It's not super glue, it's not the most secure hold, so I will have you go over them afterwards. And then you can do the same with your leaves. I will flip this over and glue directly onto the leaf, and then stick that on and hold it down with a peg as well. We've given you 4 pegs. By the time you've put your 4th leaf on, the first peg will have dried completely and you'll be able to pull it off, and you don't need a peg for every single leaf, just to hold it on for about 30 seconds to make sure it sits. So once you've got all your leaves on, you're happy with it, you want to turn it over, and I'll show you how I've done it on this one. You want to then glue over the top to make sure that you've got a firm hold. So you can see I've put an extra amount of glue over the back once that's done. And once that's all dry and ready to go, you will no doubt have glue all over the place. So just pick it off once it's dry, so you have glue hairs everywhere, and then you'll have a finished product ready to hang. So the second project, I forgot to mention as well, we've added in a florist wire to help bind the wreath together and to provide a hook if you want to hang it. So before you attach everything, you can use this wire to help bind it closed, and then as a hook, so you can hang it. So the next project is the star template. This one's reasonably easy. It's more fun to do rather than anything. So all you need to do is cut out your templates individually, and then you're going to use these. I suggest putting a little bit of sticky tape on them before you stick them to your paper. So you're going to cut this out exactly, and then a little bit of sticky tape to put it onto your paper, and then cut out your paper again. I'm going to show you just on the template rather than cutting out on the paper. So the dotted lines on the template are not for cutting, they're for folding. So make sure not to cut them. I've got a scalpel because I prefer to use a scalpel, but if you prefer to use scissors, they're in your pack. You will have received a scalpel in last month's kit, so feel free to go ahead and use that. So once you've cut out this star, you want to use your rotary cutter to go along those dotted lines. If you have a scorer that you prefer to use, then please go ahead and use that instead. It just makes it a little bit easier to fold. The paper's a bit thinner than this cardboard, and we've done that for a reason. It makes it a lot easier to fold, and the finished product sits a lot better. It doesn't try and go back to its flat form. When you do it with cardboard, it's a little bit harder, and the finished product isn't as sharp. The folds aren't as sharp. It doesn't look as good. Okay. So then you want to go through these. Use a ruler if you've got one. Not to worry. You You won't need to go this hard because you'll be using the paper rather than the cardboard. So those are the flaps that are going to go behind the star. These are going to help to hold it in place. I'm just going to use my scalpel because it's a little bit faster with the cardboard. Oh, maybe I won't. Nope. So let's do this fold as well. If you don't have a scorer and you don't want to use your rotary, what you can use is a butter knife. You can run a butter knife along these lines and they'll act as a good scorer as well. So we want the long part of the star to be high and we want the low part of the star, or the short part of the star, to be low. Get hard, again, working with cardboard, and because I haven't scored everything yet. There we go. So you can see how it's going to look once you've got all the stars on. So you want to fold these behind here and add a little bit of glue. Just there. A bit more neat than I did. And that's going to hold the star and give it a bit more structure. So you do that to each of the corners. It's a lot easier once all the dotted lines are scored. And then you'll have your finished star. You can put this onto gifts that you're giving for Christmas, or you can pop them onto the wall, or you can add them to the wreath that you just made. Make sure you photograph what you do and pop it up onto social media with the hashtag XOXkit for your chance to win your next month's kit for free. Would love any feedback you've got or any projects that you want to see in future kits. Make sure to let us know. Thanks.